Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is ScottyAllenDay. This is the best timeline that I've ever come up with. I've worked really hard on this. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. This timeline of music is going through as far as what I could be able to find. And, well, let's just deep dive into music history and let me know what you think as we're going along. So, about 1597, opera music began in Florence, Italy, with a group of musicians, artists, statesmen, and writers known as the Florentine Camerata, who sought to recreate Greek drama storytelling through music. Many consider Jacopo Peri's composition Daphne in 1597 to be the first opera. Now, the first time that I saw opera, I thought it was somebody just screaming, but the older you got, the more you started to appreciate opera. About 1600 would be the Baroque period. Baroque music is characterized by stern musical forms and highly ornamental pieces. This style is commenced in Europe around the early 1600s and continued until approximately 1750. Famous Baroque composers included Bach, Handel, and Monteverdi. I don't know if I pronounced Baroque correct. I've tried to listen to it. Hopefully I got Baroque correct. That period was about 1600 to about 1750. The 1600s gospel music traced back, it was traced to the early 17th century. Gospel music is a genre of Christian music whose creation and performance in the form of sacred songs, hymns, varies according to different cultures. Gospel music typically features dominant vocals, including strong harmonies, often requested in a call and response fashion. So it's basically worshiping, well, we all know what gospel music is. It's worshiping, caroling, praising, rejoicing the Lord and Savior. Let's see here. The 1750 was the classical period. The music of the classical period is characterized as being lighter and less strict than Baroque music. The highlights of the classical era include the composing of symphonies and piano sonatas, development and comic operas. Famous composers of classical period include Mozart, Beethoven, and Haydn. In 1830 was the Romantic period. 1830s to 1900, the music of the Romantic era is characterized by personal emotion of expression, with the emphasis on individuality and originality, including the experimentation and freedom. Where we got? Freedom of form. Orchestras grew larger in size during this period. Famous Romantic period composers include Chopin, Schumann, and Tchaikovsky, if I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I apologize. I'll learn how to pronounce people's names correctly before I get ready to start. Got an itch. I'm going by my notes. Hopefully I can keep going here. So let's go out. Jazz beginnings. 1999 was ragtime. 1999 to 1917, ragtime music is believed to have begun with Scott Joplin's Mapletown Rag. This genre largely characterized by its ragtime rhythms. Said to be a forerunner of jazz, this American music was heavily influenced by minstrel show tunes, African American banjo playing, plus aspect of European music. The 1900s, the blues, drawing from African spirituals and traditions. When exactly blues music began, it's really not clear. If we still got a really deep dive. Earliest references to blues music dates back to the late 19th century. In 1912, band leader of W.C. Handy's Memphis Blues became a hit and drove the genre to new heights. 1920 was jazz. Jazz originated in New Orleans, African American communities in the late 19th century. It became more popular across the U.S. Europe in the early 1920s, known as the Roaring Twenties. With Prohibition and speakeasies, famous jazz artists include Louis Armstrong, Count Basie, and Duke Ellington. 1920s. Country music. Country music's roots date back to the working class Americans in the country South, particularly in the Appalachian Mountains, or we called it Appalachia. Early country music blended English ballads with Irish and Celtic songs. European immigrants who settled nearby contributed influence as well. Famous country music artists include Hank Williams, Willie Nelson, and Johnny Cash. To talk more about Appalachian music is going to end up being, it's a work in progress right now. I have worked quite a bit on this project, but the more I keep deep diving, the more I keep learning. So it's going to take a little while before I come up with this talk about how country music came to what it is today. 1920s folk music also came out. American folk music origins date back to the early 1920s. It gained popularity during the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. These early folk songs talked and focused on economic hardships, including the struggles to find work. Famous folk musicians include Woody Guthrie, Pete Seeger, and Bob Dylan. Rhythm and blues, 1920s R&B. Rhythm and blues began in the African American communities in the 1940s, strongly influenced by jazz, blues, and black gospel music. R&B is also credited to be a major contributor to the creation of rock and roll. Famous R&B artists include Sam Cooke, Otis Redding, and, well, Stevie Wonder. The 1940s was also an era for bluegrass. Bluegrass music was named after Bill Monroe's band, the Bluegrass Boys, who began performing in the 1940s, originating in the American Appalachian region. Its roots are in traditional English, Irish, and Scottish music, combined with blues and jazz. Bluegrass is generally played on acoustic instruments. A good example for bluegrass would be Mary Chapin Carpenter. Let's see here, Patty Loveless does bluegrass. So there is a lot of big influencers for bluegrass music. The 1950s was the era of soul music. Oh, I got some in my eye. Born of African American experiences, soul music originated from blues clubs, churches, and street corners. Soul's major influences included R&B, gospel, and corners. Soul's major influences included R&B, gospel, and corners. I already said that. I need coffee. In 1959, the Motown label was founded in Detroit and contributed significantly to soul's music popularity. Now, most people around my age already know a lot about what they've heard with Motown. Among the both blacks and whites. Famous soul artists include The Temptations, The Supremes. Aretha Franklin was the queen of soul. In the 1950s, here comes rock music. Rock and roll music began in the early 1950s. Well, it began just a little bit earlier than that, and then it was actually recognized right around in the 1950s. In the 1950s United States, it was heavily influenced by various genres, including blues, jazz, gospel, and country music. The music became a largely guitar-driven. It became largely guitar-driven by the late 1950s and encouraged a growing youth culture. Famous rock artists included Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, David Bowie, Aerosmith, Motley Crue, and the list keeps going on. I can't name all the bands because it would take me another 20 years to be able to finish the video. The 1950s would be disco, the best driven form of popular music, where the name originated from American dance-oriented nightclubs known as the disco. The famous disco artists included Gloria Gaynor, Donna Summer, and of course the Bee Gees. Then we go into rap and hip-hop beginnings, which is the 1970s with rap and hip-hop. Rap music and hip-hop oriented in New York City's housing projects in the 1940s and 1970s. Both musical genres were initially inspired by funk, soul, and disco beats, and soon evolved into new forms of expression. Early rap and hip-hop artists included DJ Kool, Run DMC, and LL Cool J. The 1970s, new wave music started coming in. New wave music emerged into the United States and the UK music scenes in the late 1970s. This subset of rock and roll music is largely characterized by quirky pop arrangements and electronic sounds. Famous new wave artists included the Talking Heads, Blondie, and Elvis Costello. And then you ended up with 1974 with punk rock. Punk rock started in the 1970s, largely the result of an anti-establishment sentiment, particularly in the United States and Britain. Punk is characterized into having harsher sounds than typical rock, limited instrumentation, and shorter songs. Famous punk artists included The Clash, The Ramones, and the Sex Pistols. In 2010, this decade experienced a further rise in social media's influences and the types of music that music listeners listening to. Genres included synth pop, house pop, pop punk, new disco, new school breaks, indie rock, reggae fusion, heavy metal, hard rock, and others enjoyed mainstream attention largely due to social media. And then you ended up with 2017, which is bedroom pop. Bedroom pop began around about 2017, gained considerable momentum in the early 2020s due to COVID. The global pandemic resulted in live concert cancellations worldwide. For 2 years, bedroom pop, a musical genre where young artists recorded DIY from their bedrooms, posted music online, and became more popular due to musicians being restricted to their homes. Bedroom pop artists include Billie Eilish, Clario, and Girl in Red. So there we have it. We have a brief walk through music history. It's choppy, but it still has more work. But hey, I think it was a really good video that we put together today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to leave me a comment about it so I can be able to improve my video, let me know in the comment section. If you liked the video, give me a comment, let me know. if you really like the video, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, give me a share. Share it with your friends. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video. And like always, keep on rocking.